Starting back up. Cool. Close that. That should be working fine. I haven't played you in a long time. Yes. Um. I don't know why it's changing colors. Um, 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 oh, no, wrong button. Yes. So it's a driver issue. Or a connection issue, it seems. Alright. Okay. Let's see if we can figure this out. Why can't we move it? shit. Shouldn't you? Alright, let's see. Oh, duh. Do. Because that's not actually going into with my drivers. Because that's just going into my hard drive. No, it's not going into my graphics card.
Hey, sorry, I think we might have gotten started on a wrong foot. I think you're super cool with your dog. I have a dog.
Display port adapter. Alright, I bought a DisplayPort adapter, but for now we can convert it into Ziplocs. Text Ziplocs, swap it out. Yep. Yep. That was it. Look. Huh? Oh. Groin shot. Hello. No, we don't. That is not what we want to see. Ooh. And then now we want to go with this button. All right. Now we go to here. All right. Now we go here. Now we want to add media source. Drawing tablet. Oh wait, no, not that. Delete. Yes. Oh, media sources like videos and shit. Okay. Okay. This is cool. Oh. Cool. Sliding into my DMs. Okay. Let's see if we have this working properly. It knows where it is even without touching. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, and now take take you, put you here. And then I want to move you. Yes. Yes. Okay. 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 All right. I can close you. Put you here. Have you. Grab you. In there. Wait, did I order that appropriately? Bueno. Bueno. Wait. Okay, good. I already have the next Sakamoto days ordered. Oh, they have 1 and 2 of them. That's nice. April 2024. Holy shit. Um, I do only have up to 6. I really thought I was further. Okay. Okay, we're figuring it out. We're learning. Already got it ordered. Perfect. Okay. Bueno, bueno, bueno. Bien, bien. ¿Y tú? Okay. Oh. Spicy. I feel like a wizard. Wait, wait. Oh, God, I'm dumb. Right. Scroll down. And then we want to go in to here. No, 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 no. That. Mm-hmm. Um, maximize. Press and hold a right click. There's not just a. There we are. Sweet mother of God. I didn't hear anyone come in here, and so it scared me. Oh. Oh, hey, Link. Oh, sweet Christ. So, I was sitting here just quietly, just like, oh, then I'm like, the devil's come for my soul, finally. So, I've decided to do something over summer, and I am in the process of doing it for the first time now, like a big boy. So, I decided I want to learn to draw. So, I bought a like relatively cheap-ish drawing tablet for like $250. And then I've been like sketching in a notebook. I'm very bad. And when I say I'm very bad, I don't mean I'm like, oh, I'm bad, but you see it and you're like, fuck, dude, like that's amazing. You're like you're doing full figures, and they're like, you're like, yeah, but like the lines could be clean and stuff. And I'm like, no, dude, like, but you're really good. You're way better than me. Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, look, man, like, if I wanted to represent a character moving, my best bet is like stick figures, my guy. Like, I tried to draw like. I did a frog yesterday, and it actually if I showed it to someone, it would actually look like people would be like, that is a frog. Like, you wouldn't have to spend a second to be like, what was the child trying to draw? Like, you wouldn't need someone to tell you what it was. And I was so proud because it actually looked like the thing I wanted it to. And like, that was a first. And so I got a drawing tablet, and I've literally been streaming, and I'm streaming right now of me literally setting it up, getting it installed, trying to get it connected, and figuring it out to where it's like, literally, I'm like, you know what? I'll make this my own personal project. I'll do basically a YouTube. I need to go to a different channel so I'm not just seeing Doof. Like, it just be a photo of Doof's abs and back. Sorry, I was just in the workout channel, and I'm like, I don't need that right now. I don't need to just be like, having people be like, this is what we're working with. And people are like, oh man, yeah, like, we're gonna get like swole. And I'm like, look, I want to get fit too. But I'm going to take my battles of learning art first, and then I'll worry about, like, I need to get rid of that fat lard that's clinging to my body. Like, I just looked at a close, like, when I had, like, the camera in full screen, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, I got too much neck fat. Like, you know that, like, fat where you're like, ooh, you're approaching the fat where we're concerned about your health. And it's something where it's like, when my doctor says to me on a point, I'm like, could work on losing some weight there. You could probably be like 40 pounds less for your height. And I'm like, I know. And I'm like, I know it's true, but I don't like it. So basically, I've bought a tablet. I just hooked it up, and then I was just about to toy around with it. And then I hear a voice that I just like had a halfway to a panic attack. So how are you, Link? It's been a while. Yeah, they so how is that? Like with it, cuz like I know if I didn't have a long-standing backlog of games that I need to get, ooh, they gave me a fancy finger glove. You know what? I don't think it's supposed to go on those fingers. They gave me a fancy glove. Nope, it definitely goes on those fingers cuz that blocks the thumb otherwise. Never mind. They gave me like a I'm gonna send a photo, and like I'm gonna send you a photo so like you know what I'm talking about when I say it's like it looks like something that someone would try and have in like in a cyberpunk future, and you're like, but why not just a full glove? And then but he's like, because it's fashion. Like, you know what I'm talking about when I say that? Like, you know, like people would be like, but why would you do that? You want to be like, fashion. Yeah, like, fashion is stupid and weird. Mm-hmm. Wait, can you say that again? I couldn't hear that well. Well, could you say that again? I couldn't hear you that well. I've always had I'm, as you might guess, I'm an artsy fartsy, weird, creative-ish guy with it. But I've never been good at making physical art with things. So I've always had these ideas, these thoughts, these images in my head and stuff like that I want to show people, but my best way to do that is just with words. And so I wanted to just figure out because a drawing is something where I'm it feels like I could try and do it in a lot of places or ways, or if I tell someone oh, I draw or whatever in my free time, they won't if I tell people I read manga in my free time recently, people might slightly look down on that. But if I tell someone I've been learning to draw recently, no one's going to be only the douchiest of bags is going to be pussy. People are going to be impressed with drawing, but I also feel it's something that I like to, when I'm learning skills and stuff like that, be able to demonstrate that, be look, I've learned this thing. I can do this thing now. It's what I really liked when I got my degree in computer science. Before I had my degree, I didn't know jack diddly about computers, but now after I can demonstrate, I know and understand these concepts, these areas, these fields, and I now have a sense of what computer science is more than I did before. I can demonstrate and know my knowledge. To where drawing is something it's always something that's been interesting to me and cool to me, and I've always wanted to see how I would develop my own style of art. And and so just trying to sketch and draw and stuff like that, sometimes it's one of those things of you know what, why not? I have a lot of creative artsy friends. I'll see and I'll try and figure it out too. That stuff, it's it could have been if it was cheap enough to get an instrument, it might have something you know what, I'll learn to play the bassoon or something. Which I'll be honest, I feel if I chose something like the bassoon, I could probably be one of the best non-professional players in the world solely because, or one of the best non-professional adults in the world solely because I don't think anybody's playing the bassoon casually unless you're getting paid for it. I'm sorry to bassoon players. Literally, you play a bassoon if you are in an orchestra, or that's it. Nobody's people aspire to play, people are I'm gonna play the bass guitar because that's cool, or I'm gonna play the drums casually because I'm so awesome. People are I'm classical, I'll play the piano, or my mom and dad were really aggressive on me as a child, so I know how to play the violin. Or it's or if you're my family is a bunch of hicks and we sell moonshine, so that's how I learned to fiddle. The fiddle is the white trash name for a violin, because I remember it's people are what's the difference between a fiddle and a violin, and they're basically the same in a lot of ways. It's just a matter of how you play them. And I was huh. So why do I hear fiddle and think something yeehaw, I got 3 teeth still in my mouth at 25, I'm an adult, and just be oh my god, such an accomplishment. Yeah, nobody's I can't think of anyone who there's probably a lot of instruments like that. I can imagine it's not even one of those stupid weird niche instruments that someone will play to be oh yeah, this is the type of person I am. Look at how creative and unique I am. I could imagine people doing that for the tuba. There's someone who's oh yeah, well, it's yeah, well, we got Tuba Tom over over down the street, and you're why is he that? It's because Tom will come out every other Friday and he'll start playing his tuba walking up and down the street, and you'll be oh wow, Tuba Tom. People will play certain instruments just for the giggles or because that's their thing, but the bassoon feels so boring, so unsexy as an idea, that it just doesn't feel there's going to be a lot of popularity behind it. Now, I am sorry, because I realized I just picked bassoon out of my ass as just a random instrument, and now I've just violently slandered it. So to anyone, to the 0 people watching that may see this, bassoon players, I'm not going to apologize. You know who you are. Also, you should be in high school right now, because either you're getting played for it and you know it, you're someone who's there's a demand for the bassoon. like, yeah, oh my god, I just realized there are people in professional orchestras whose job is to be a triangle player. Yeah. Yeah, no, like that's yeah, like you got a good point because it's like I don't really think like so like for so many instruments and stuff like that. I feel like that'd be really fascinating to figure out like how people first get into what instrument. Like how many people's life trajectories are determined by like their middle school music teacher being like, "Well, John, how would you like to learn the oboe?" And then John just stuck with the oboe for the rest of his life. And then at like 65 when he's retired, he'd be like, "I would like to thank Mr. Menarn. He gave me the oboe and I am blowing down the house. Yeah!" Just like how many people's life trajectories have been changed just because some guy like who just graduated with a music degree and he's going to make it someday. He's gonna make it someday in his band. It just was like, "Oh, good, we're gonna do great," and then he just like, then the guy's just like, "Okay," or it's just like some 4-year-old who's like, "We need to fill out the rest of the band. We need someone to do this." Hey, like, I, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's weird, but I know I'm not fully crazy. Oh, now I get it. Now the hand glove thing makes sense to me. You put it in the hand that you're drawing with, because then you can then with it you'd be able to rest your hand on the screen itself that I have without actually ruining the screen or like scratching anything with it or getting your oily hands and stuff on the screen while still leaving your middle finger and your index and your thumb able to grip the pen easily without like losing any feel. Okay. All right. Compared to what I thought it was going to be, this makes more sense. I do feel like a wizard though, because the pen itself, uh, it like the monitor can pick up the pen is there before I've even touched the screen. Like I'm like a half inch at least away. Sorry, I am 2 centimeters, international units, away from the screen, and like it is and it's like following it, and I'm a wizard. I feel so magical. But it is nice. Yeah. But it is nice that this screen only responds to the pen, so I can wipe it down with like the nice like microfiber cloth that I have nearby, cuz I tried to put on a protective film thing that I bought before. Um uh, it had more bubbles on it. Like it had more air bubbles than a hydrothermic vent. Like it was just like, and I'm just like, no, no, we need something else, cause like just here, like it was bad. Like, and I was just like, and it's just because like I messed it up. I know, right? So I took it off. And it like thankfully the thing came with two. So then eventually I'm gonna try and like do it right later. Oh yeah, and here was the start of the frog that I was like, if I showed someone this, they'd actually think frog. Um, like I just starting with it, but now it's just like okay, so let's see. And then we select the new file. Yeah, and like I what the fuck? Why is this? Ooh, ooh. Uh, It's, let's see. How do I make something? I want to just no, and I want to do file, new. Uh, let's see. Where I want to get a predetermined. That's not right. I just want a big empty canvas. Let's see. Ooh, wow, that's a zoom. That is a zoom function. Oh, God, I know I sound like a toddler doing this all. Because it's just like, I'm like, ooh, art. Fancy colors. Let's go with you. Let's use that template. No, that is not what we want. That is ugly. I know I'm going to show apples and she's going to just be so proud and happy. Let me see. Let's see. Let's open you up. Let's look. Let's look. Oh, that's. Let's see. Krita download templates. Oh, that's what I want then. I want design templates. File. Nope, wrong button. Actually, that's the right button, but I didn't know that at the time. You. Oh, scissors, please. But what have you been up to, Link? Oh no, but like besides that, like how you been? Everything good? Oh, nice, dude. What'd you get a degree in? I know what. No, I understand the challenge. One of my degrees is something that only my college has in that phrasing, so I just say, look, it's film. I await with bated breath. I'm excited to see what my friends learned about. Ooh. I really like how like there's gonna be a point where like you show it and you're like, look, here's like the rough translation or something, and I see it, I'm like, oh, like European history. Okay, so engineering technology, like there's probably like civil engineering, like you build, like it'd be like building buildings, waterways, structures, systems like that. Uh, oh, metallurgy and fancy, interesting. What got you interested in metallurgy? Interesting. Okay, so like electrical engineering with systems and stuff like that. Like what part of it do you think is the most compelling to you, or what makes you think like, yes, this is what I like? Oh, okay. So it's the outside of just like how we deal with things, but like, well, it's like I think I kind of get that feeling too, because like for me, when it comes to excuse me, like one thing that I love about computers and stuff like that is that computers are different in the fact that like computers are weird, quote unquote, but like they all make sense, and like how everything's connected, and like how much there is with for me about like even no, different YouTube channel. Uh like even the theory of how you do even the theory of how you do or make something, and like how like one thing that I had to cover a lot of in my degree was actually
CPU or whatever is on your computer.
yeah. No, and that's the thing is it's like there's all these weird different ways in which things interact, in which systems work, build, are designed. Like one thing that I had to cover a lot of was outside of just the sense of here's how you make something. It was also the sense of like here's the theory behind this thing. How does this work? How do you make like how do we structurally organize these things to then make sense? And it's something that I gained a lot of appreciation for because I realized like the theory behind how things work together or how things function is critical, because when you have everyone understanding this theoretical structure and layout, that's how you have people who never work together on a project still have interoperability. Like I may never like if I make a piece of software, I'm probably never going to actually interact with a company in Sri Lanka that is integrating that into their like weather forecasting systems for airports. But because we use the same base structure and like understanding of how these systems interact, we can know how they're going to work together to still make them work even if we never actually build a tool. Like I've just always been fascinated with that level of like dynamics and how systems integrate and work together, because it's like so much stuff about life is like it is a puzzle. And I love that puzzle.
It is really interesting, but for other things, scary how fast we expanded.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Technology. Like
Yeah.
in 100 years, you couldn't dream about like, yeah, permanent water, and that's it.
Yeah,
Now
like
we have complete electronic lights and everything
yeah, like
connected with Bluetooth.
if we told someone in 19 if I told someone in 1923, she'd be like, yeah, the concept of being without clean water will be so utterly foreign to you as an individual that it will seem just wrong if it ever comes up. Like I didn't know that I didn't know there are people who are in places where it's like, oh yeah, we have a boil notice because there might be water contamination, so we have to boil our water to kill bacteria in it. And then it's just like, I'm like, we're in the year 2023. God damn it. I should not be hearing about people needing to boil their water. It's like, I want to be able to piss in a sink and be drinking clean water 5 seconds later. It's like the way God intended. like not exactly, but like that level of we make the ways that we've advanced is amazing. The things that are no longer concerns for us, people, it's always crazy because you realize at a certain extent when people keep on looking back in human experience and history, there's so much stuff that we have made so much progress in and gotten so much better about that we always feel like in the future we're gonna be so far away, and things are just gonna be so crazy and different and amazing and awesome. For example, have you ever seen or heard of the film Blade Runner?
I heard about it but never saw it.
Okay, so it's this dystopian world where this issue is that these synthetic life forms, I believe they're called android. I'm trying to remember what it is. But these synthetic things that are like humans that we make to be stronger, better, faster than people, or replicants, that's what they're called. Is that we make them to be stronger, better, faster than human beings, so they can work and live in dangerous environments. But because they're kind of based off people in a way, they don't they need to have we're growing these things as full humans. They are the full adult size of a human. But they still we realize that they would go mad to an extent if we didn't do stuff. So one thing that we started to do with them is that because we needed to train them to do their jobs, because once we've grown them, it's like if you put a baby's brain inside a full adult human, that's gonna go bad. So then they found ways to basically implant in their mind memories and thoughts, and so they would basically build entire fake memories and lives and universes for these people, so they would think and act like humans, but in their life and history they would learn and train and know all these new skills and stuff. So you'd be able to train them through their job through making literally implanting in their brain their entire life with it. But their lives were so human that replicants weren't replicants thought of themselves as people, because for all intents and purposes they were, except replicants had a short lifespan. They would live for 5 years maybe. But to them, I'm a human. They've lived their whole lives. They're human beings, and it's this whole thing of what makes you a person? Is it a collection of your memories and your experiences, or is it just being born of flesh and blood, of being being birthed from a womb? Does it matter if it's actually your memories? All this big stuff. Philip K. Dick, the guy who wrote it, he was really creative and insane. He's the guy who you're like, that's a man who probably lost half his mind on acid. And guess what? He is a man who lost half his mind on acid. And it was just something to where, oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm just realizing drawing with this, it feels like I'm actually painting with watercolors, and I'm loving it. And even though I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I'm just this is art, baby. Because it's how hard you're pressing, how aggressively it is, and what you're just drawing. I'm having fun drawing circles like a toddler. Oh, it's fun. But yeah.
All these questions are really interesting. Same with the thing it's more religious, but what really is when we die.
Yeah.
There are many guys that think we are really reborn and it's a little bit concerning for me when this is really a thing when we die.
Yeah. Like and it's such a and it like and there's so much philosophical questioning and like concern about like that. Like so I understand the sincerity and the truth of that, and I agree with that. And like how it's like the philosophical questions like why, what makes you a person, what is it like when you die, or something like that, or all the other stuff that goes on in the world. And I say that entirely so I can send you this clip of something and realize that I am taking you seriously. Because when you say like people who like reborn and like live again with it, uh, even the title of it is when you unalive yourself, but it's Buddhism. So it's like,
But the thing is, like, this theory got support by a lot of things that really goes up in the world. Like, why are there some people that are so smart? Like, and then the answer is, yeah, they are reborn, and that's why they already lived a life.
no, and it's one of those things where it's like I can't say I know or have any semblance or like postulation about like what is the like quote unquote answer. And to a certain extent, like in some ways, I don't. This is gonna sound weird, but like I don't believe that to some extent, like whatever the right answer is, if there is one, whatever like there's nothing, there's something, there's this, there's that, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
like to a certain extent, like I don't know, I have like this semi-cosmic weird belief about like life is weird. Life is not a basic simple thing. And humans as a species have produced I believe I would refer to them as emergent phenomena. Like humans as life have developed and things show up in us that isn't like immediately described by the base functions of just DNA conversion. Like stuff happened in us that's not really like dictated by pure genetic chance or whatever. It's just like it's just cosmic whatever. But like whatever the answer is, I still believe at the end of the day that the core of whatever you choose to do or be in life should be rooted in, like, to put it in my usual joking terms, hey dude, don't be a dick, be nice to people. And so it's like whatever system, structure, group, organization, or anything that people believe or buy into, I still believe that that's like a critical part of the entire human experience, is like compassion, caring, kindness. At least to be the best type of humans we can be.
Like a little bit like the karma system. You do good, you receive good.
Yeah. Like in a way, and where it's like even outside of like the karma system with it, to where it's like I believe in good for the sake of good, for even for the fact of it's like when people are like, why continue to live or deal with stuff? Like, I'll be like, I can give you like the happy, like kind answer, or I can give you the answer like, why continue to live? It's like, because you fucking can. It's like, spite reality. It's like, that rock ain't alive, I'm alive. Fuck that rock, I'm better than a rock. It's like, live because you can. It's like experience and live. It's like, because all people, like ultimately you are the universe experiencing itself. You are the universe in a form that we haven't perceived in another way able to exist. And that sounds like some deep hippy dippy bullshit, but I will still stick by that idea of like, look, be happy and like learn and be compassionate and kind and like caring for people and like don't be an evil dickbag.
But if we are gonna real, that's not like how real life is, sadly.
Oh, yeah. And like that's the thing is it's like what I believe we can do to be better versus the way that we currently are. Like I believe humans should always be striving to improve. Like we should be trying to be better than we were before, because it's the fact that it's like hey, Grugnog and Splorgenfern in like 40,000 BC were like, holy shit, we figured out how to make things burn regularly. We live like kings now because we've understand fire. And it's like, the life that we live now can be better than the life that we lived before. And I believe that humans are capable of being better than we were before and than we are now. It's like, like you're saying, I know that people aren't always nice and good and kind and compassionate, but I believe that we can improve upon who we are, and we should.
But in general, that's a thing like with the how we expanded all our technology. If we didn't like do war in general, what we already could have achieved. Like if something like Rome Empire still exists in its complete glory with that technology, like they were 2,000 years ago and had like the same technology that we got on the 800.
Probably, yeah. No, and there's a lot of stuff that Rome did that we were like, it's really impressive. Like, for example, like fucking aqueducts and the canal systems, like they had plumbing. Now, sure, there was other stuff that they had to figure out and that other places didn't get, and then it's like, and it's one of those things where it's like, still all the advances that we've made, like, we've discovered a lot of stuff and learned a lot of things and changed a lot of stuff with it, and where it's like, I will never believe that whatever point we're currently at is the penny ultimate point of it, because
so as well.
Like it's like to where it's like we could have learned so like what the Romans knew and how they existed, like because for each type and style of society, I believe that there are points when it's like you have to be able to change, adjust, and reassess how you exist to then find ways to then improve, because like there are things that you can understand and learn from what you do to get better. And like one thing that we as humans learned and got better at, I am not happy with that. I was trying to draw the body of a frog. I drew an angry yam.
Oh my god.
It looks like a bad poke. It looks like a child trying to. We're making a new page. Cause that, ooh, that was not the looks that we want. Okay, I'm learning the tools. One sec. What are those tools that actually do this? How is Valheim? Because did they finally update it with the things they said they'd update it to like a long time ago?
They at least updated the Mistlands, the new biome, on near the edge of the map. It was I played it already through. It was really nice, and soon they will filling up the north and the south.
Cool, because I remember like when I played it, like I think it was 2 years ago, because I think it was early pandemic when it first kind of like hit, and I played it a lot with Connor. But like I played it a lot with, and it's just like, because there were a lot of like, because I think it was Mistlands, the one where is the Mistlands the one where it has like the giant spider webs on like the like trees and stuff like that. No, that's the Deadlands. There's another one called like the Deadlands or something else like that. And then there's also Mistlands, and then they also had the volcano lands or whatever it is, the Firelands. And like,
the Mistlands is already out. Firelands and the Deadlands are the things they are developing right now.
Okay. Yeah. Because I remember when they first announced the game, they're like, "Oh, look at all this stuff we're gonna have in the next year," and then like it's been a lot longer than that.
But for my side, I more like waiting for the stuff than releasing it too early.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too. It's something where it's like, I'm glad that they finally actually made it, because something to where like I know that I probably would like I'll be honest, I'm holding myself back from getting into it because I know if I do, I'm going to get farther I'm gonna get farther behind on my currently standing
Drawing project.
No, not just that. I will get even farther behind, because my thing is like for drawing, I'm like, I'm not gonna be like drawing super hard every day, but I was like at least 15 minutes or so every day or something like that. But like the God, I need to think like an adult for a second and just actually figure something out with it. My God, give me a second, Link, so I can make a full sentence and then get back to you without sounding like an idiot who's stumbling over their words like a drunkard. I have a backlog of video games that I'm like, oh, I need to play this game and I'll need to beat that. And then like a new game comes out and I'm like, I play that and then I'll like get through that and then I won't finish that and then I'll play and then I'll play and then I'll play and then I won't finish that. And then there'll be like a lot of games that I'm then like, oh Christ, I gotta finish these still. Like I have a PlayStation 5. I got the PlayStation 5 that was like, come with God of War Ragnarok bundle. I never played the original God of War 2018. So I had to go back and then I had to beat that game. Played that, loved it. Then like going with other stuff. And then I even got like Horizon Forbidden West, and then that even has the new DLC. And so like, but I never beat that. Then like another game and then another game and then another game. And then now Final Fantasy 16 came out. And so now I'm like, okay, no. And then also Legend of Zelda, and I did play a lot of Tears of the Kingdom. I did actually beat Tears of the Kingdom. I am proud of myself for that.
Nice.
I didn't treat it like Breath of the Wild, where I'm like, I've played for 100 hours, but I never finished it. Like, I literally only beat Breath of the Wild probably about 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, when I was like, I need to actually finish this game. And then you know what? I was literally like an hour or less from beating the game. Like I was at the castle, like ready to go, fully geared up and stuff. I just like didn't pull the trigger to be like, all right, just run through, and then I go in, kill it, clear it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was easy. And then similar to Connor, I beat Tears of the Kingdom halfway accidentally. I was like, oh yeah, I have to go and find something, so I got to go to this place to go and find it, right, with it? And then I went down somewhere, I was like, this is near the end, but not the end, right? And then I keep going forward, and I'm like, I think this might be the end. And then I get to a point where I'm like, oh, this is the end. This is the final battle sequencing. Which I will say, like, I think, like, have you played Tears of the Kingdom, or do you plan to?
No, I really like to play it, but I don't have a Switch, so
yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah, I will say they did a good job with it in making like it felt very fun and rewarding for the final like sequence of it all, which is like what you want. You want to be like, yes, I am happy with how this game ended, because like so many games can really be like taken down a lot by a very lackluster ending.
Most time, even the game's ending is sometimes more important than like 50% of the game.
Yeah, like for so many games that are like built around like world and narrative stuff like that, like having a good ending to it can like having a bad ending to games can just basically be such like a blah. Like for example, speaking of Final Fantasy 16 coming out recently, Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 was very fun. The core, I really enjoyed the game when I played it. But you can tell with the game, playing through it, that they had to rush the end. Like, there was so much stuff about it that I'm like, oh my god, this would be so cool if they were able to expand on all of this and all of this. Like the world of the game is massive and expansive, and that was just the first zone. And then you get this feeling from the rest of it that they were planning to try and do two or three more zones, and even like a different alternate timeline of like even more stuff.
But the crunch time probably kicked in.
Well, no, but the game had been in development hell. Like they've been building, like they had the problem of feature creep. They kept on making more and more and more and more. That they kicked the original game director out, brought in a different one to basically say to him, "We need this game to actually release. It's been 5 years of development." And so they were just like, okay, yeah. So they had to like basically go through and finish it. To like the end, if the beginning of the game didn't feel as like open-ended as it did, like the beginning of the game feels very open-ended, open-worldy with it. But then once you like start the like the progression of like the story world narrative stuff like that, it is a very strong and straight line pushing you to the end very fast. Like a lot of narrative action happens in a very short time frame, technically, of like the rest of the gameplay.
And then it don't feel naturally. Or
Yeah, it didn't feel like, it felt like with the amount of gameplay versus the amount of narrative that happened, it felt like for 10% of the gameplay, 60% of the narrative happened. And so it just felt like just so much got jammed in there to where it's like I will say the end sequencing and events happening are pretty dope. Like when you fight, like you have to fight you have to fight the usual Final Fantasy summons that you have to fight Ifrit, the giant fire spirit, because like the giant fire spirit turned on humanity or whatever like that, as long as some other evil things, because like all this narrative that they throw at you super fast, and so you are the one person capable of summoning other gods. So you summon Bahamut, the mega dragon god, and then you see a giant dragon god stand over a city, and then you see the sky rip open with thousands of light and blades spawning around him that then just start catapulting to the earth as you see like a fire dancer looking like demon spirit just trying to dodge all these blades as you see a giant dragon god coming in to basically just like giga nuke him. And I was like, dude, that's a movie. Which they did make a movie out of the game. They made an animated movie to go along with it that I knew someone who watched it and they're like, dude, the movie's like, the story's bleh, but like
cutscenes are good.
But the movie was unbelievably beautiful, and I was like, yeah, like so many of the cutscenes and in the animations and stuff in it, I was like, all right, they know how to appeal to like the child in me. Like one of the things they did add a lot of post game, like they did add a lot of like after it was released content to the game, which I'll be like, okay, at least I appreciate that. Like they didn't like drop it and then just say, okay, bye. But like one thing that I remember seeing, I never even beat it myself, is you can fight a mountain. And the mountain's technically a gargantuan, like god-sized turtle. But you can fight a mountain. And then you can summon Titan, like the earth god thing, to basically just sprint over another series of mountains to then come and then just basically Rocky knock out a giant turtle mountain. Except for I'm like, hell yeah! Like,
but I understand the problem then.
Yeah, it's like just like yes, here. stuff where I'm like, all right, like, you make me feel cool, I'll accept it. But like, it's the challenge of so much art and things like that. But yeah, like as you were saying before with it, I believe humans can be nice, compassionate, and caring, and I believe that we should always work to be good people.
Definitely, so.
And I know it's hard, and I'm not going to be like naive to them, like, why aren't people nice all the time? I'm like, no, like, some people are dicks. That's who they are.
It's
Like,
the nature of the humankind.
yeah, it's like, there's some people that are just dicks. It's like, but I do believe that in general, I believe humans as a baseline are mostly neutral. They are products of their environment. What allows them to best survive or make do in whatever world or life they're living is the way that they're going to be. And in some places, that then pushes people to be assholes. And there are some people who, even in cruel, terrible, bad circumstances, like, there'll be people who, even if they have every reason to be a bad person, they're still good and kind people. And then there'll be times when there's, like, you have every reason, like, you're brought up in a good environment, circumstance, stuff like that, and, like, raised by people who are teaching you kindness, caring, compassion, and love. And there'll be people who, even in that circumstance, will still be bastards. Like, in general, people are neutral, but you will have outliers on either end of being really good despite everything leveled against them, or bastards despite everything being in their benefit to be kind. And it's just like, there's no perfect solution. There's I think now we're at like 8 I have to check, because I thought I saw something not long ago saying that they believe we are past 8 billion people.
I think we are. I think we have like 8 billion, like 200 million.
Okay. Okay, so by looking at this, it
Okay, we're
looks,
close to.
yeah, it looks, so it says the projected world population on January 1st, 2023 is 7,942,000,000. So like, and they say, and that's like, and that's an increase. And if we keep about the level that we had last year, which they're projected, we'll be crossing 8 billion people this year.
But that's like when you see the graph, like how much we expanded ourselves. Like 1960, we had like 3 billion people.
Oh yeah,
and how it's near to 8.
Population exploded so hard with it, and it was one of those things to where a lot of that came from like one thing. Like, I know that like overpopulation is an issue, and in my opinion, what I believe is one of the best ways to actually help combat overpopulation is global modernization. Because one thing that you notice in I believe basically every modernized country is birth rates. So a lot of the global like population increase is coming from undeveloped countries. Well, the majority, like for example, like I think across like all of Europe, like the birth rate, which the birth rate is like I think it's this term is the right term is the birth rate, but like the birth rate, they say to keep a stable population, you need a birth rate of 2.2. So for every 2 people, for every couple, there is or pretty much for every woman, quote unquote, for every female, there needs to be the birth rate needs to be 2.2. So that's like every woman has 2.2 kids basically, because that way it's like, all right, 2 to replace the female, to replace the 2 people, the partners, and then a 0.2 because of people who can't have kids, don't have kids, or people who die young or whatever like that. And so, but in a lot of countries in Europe, the birth rate is 1.5 or something. I think in Italy it's 1.1.
Yeah, I like many countries that are developed. right? They're highly developed right now. Have even problem with birth rights.
Yeah.
I heard like Japanese have really
Yeah.
big problems with birth right.
Yeah. Let me see. Birth rate in. I was seeing Japan is 1.34, which is like really low. Wow. Italy's even lower. Italy has a birth rate of 1.24. That's, yeah, it's like, so it's just the thing of like more developed countries, because my thought is a lot of this, it's like as people are more educated, birth control is more available, and like all the other things, like for example, like when women are no longer in a spot of like, you have to have a kid, that's all you can do in your life. When it's like, you want to go become, it's like, hey, you want to go become a train engineer? Yeah. Go right ahead, miss. We really need to improve that public infrastructure. And she'll be like, delightful. And then she'll like go build trains. And then like, then she'll be like, I don't feel like having kids. And they're like, okay. Nope, that's fine. or she'll be like, I like my, it's like, oh, I'm really busy. And then like, she'll be like, my husband was like, we want a kid, but we just want one. Just one. And stuff, it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And it's like, how many, like, just one child households or stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that's everywhere with it. And it's just like, birth rates are so low, and that like, so my thought is the best, one of the, like, the most humane way to solve overpopulation is developing the world. It's like, hey, these people dying of poverty and disease and illness, if we improve their life, like if we improve their quality of life, they're going to have less kids, so we're not gonna have to worry about the population. Like, hey, we'll eventually reach a point where we're gonna be like, okay, like we'll eventually reach a point like Japan where they're like, I remember seeing something, the government is holding singles mixers. Like,
But in general, so many problems would be solved with developing low countries. But
like,
that's where, but that's where like every country is too selfish to do this.
Very self-interested. And it's like, and that's the other thing too, Link, and why I believe it's like, also like, how many other problems do we solve if like countries get developed and stuff like that? And it's just like, it's the thing a lot of times of like countries like it reminds me of like I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing, but it was someone said that like countries don't have morals, they have interests or whatever. It's like, because a nation isn't an individual, and a nation, like a country's goal is self-preservation and like promotion of their own morals and objectives, which I'm like, in some ways I can see and agree with that, but like people are still then making up the country, and we can be better than just our more base desires. And so it's just like, so like countries are still going to be thinking about like, well, then how can that benefit me? And then I'm like, because your soul won't hate you, that's why being a good person's nice. I'm just like I know that's not a real answer, but like it's the thing of how it's just like there is a, like you're saying, people are selfish about it. And it's like, that's why I believe like even as an individual to try and just help in the small ways that I can try and do that, like trying to donate to charities and stuff like that, or buying things that are like, hey, we help build these things or that things. Like, for example, I don't know if you know who they are, but there's a pair of brothers who, like, one of them's an author, another one does like a lot of YouTube stuff. He recently got diagnosed with cancer, so that's been like circling around, but he found it early and he's in treatment already, so like it's like pretty good outcome and prospects on it. But John and Hank Green, and like one thing they have is like, for a lot of their companies, like all the profits and stuff for it get sent to, currently it's like trying to improve maternal health care outcomes they're trying to build basically a maternity ward and like a women's health center in Sierra Leone to just reduce infant mortality rates and improve like quality of life for women in Sierra Leone by giving them access to medical care and like building a state-of-the-art medical facility. Because like no one should die giving birth in the world anymore. We're better than that. Like, no one should die because, oh, I got an infection from, like, and stuff. Like, we shouldn't be having all these highly solvable problems and be struggling like that. So we should be better. And so it's like, so they want to try and do better by, like, supporting and funding, like, women's health care and stuff like that. And I'm like, good. Yes, let's stop people from bleeding out because they don't have access to medical care with it. It's like, I agree with the philosophy of people shouldn't die from, like, septic wounds. Like, we're better than George Washington, okay? We don't need to have some doctor be like, we need to bleed the wound to release the humors on the inside. It's like, nah, I think we can do better than that.
Yeah, and that's only the start of it. Like,
Yeah.
big problem right now also is like garbage in the ocean.
Yeah. No,
Like,
and like,
we could solve this so easily if we help countries that underdeveloped.
yeah, and that's one thing too, is I believe is like there's a lot of problems that humans have then been the manufacturers of. Like, we've caused a lot of problems. So then we should be working to fix them. And I'm going to look at this in an optimistic fashion, not the very easy, super depressing fashion. There are a lot of problems for us to solve, so let's get to it. It's like,
But
you
the-
don't have...
But there's the problem if,
Yeah.
like, your own life isn't at risk.
Yeah.
People on the high society won't do anything.
Often, yeah. And that's one of the things, but it's one of the ways where it's like, and there's a lot of problems and challenges and a lot of different things that are issues in the world. And like, I'm not gonna like say like, no, they're fine, we fixed them and solved them all or whatever like that. Like, I'm not gonna be some derp that's gonna try and like say that no, it's different, trust me. Like, no, I'm going to realize that like there's a lot of things that we need to try and improve upon.
But that reminds me to something I learned like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where I don't know where I read it, but the only thing that the whole world really, everyone accepted was an order to, I don't know which gas it was. It was a gas that was used to burn something in the industry, and it was hurting the atmosphere so much that like the atmosphere was already nearly opened at some point.
Ozone
That
layer
everyone
stuff, those phosphos, those hydrocarbons, I believe they're called.
Yeah, I think it was this. That really everyone agreed on it. That never will be used again. But like, that's the only thing in hundreds and hundreds of years that the world really acute.
And it's one of those things of to where like the thing is like I can't. I can understand the philosophy. I guess it's not even a philosophy, but like the thing of like, oh hey, this isn't affecting me, therefore why should I care about this kind of stuff about it. Like for example, there are ants that are committing mass genocide against other ant species, but that doesn't impact human lives or anything like that, so like why care about it? Like, that's just that's maybe not the best example, but it's like there's stuff that when you don't see how something affects you, you can distance yourself from it. Like that stuff where I'm like, oh, that's like the way some things are, and that's the way things happen within a natural cycle, and like that's a at least moderately reasonable like justification for it. But for a lot of the things that are a problem that we've even been talking about with the world and stuff like that, because of how expansive human influence has been, these problems that exist aren't just isolated things that are like, this makes me sad. Like, the plastic in the oceans isn't just like a problem for like, isn't just like, oh well, fish will die, that sucks. It's something where like even beyond that, that will have a chain reaction upon natural environments, killing off a lot of things, killing off a lot of food sources, then humans will starve or be getting infested by so many microplastics that we're getting inside the fish that we're eating and farming that it's then causing a depletion, like a bad quality of life for humans and causing us problems. And it's just like, so people will distance themselves from problems thinking this isn't relevant to me, but all these things are relevant to us. These do impact you. These do alter our lives, and we need to be aware of that and then willing to address and then change. Because it's not just something that's like, oh, well, that doesn't matter. It's like, no, but it does. And it's something to where it's something that it does require a philosophical change and reassessment, which I think is also a factor for, like, Link, how old are you?
I'm 31 right now.
Yeah, you're 21. I'm 30. Like, we're comparatively, for a majority of humans, young. And like how we look at the world is going to be very different than a lot of people. And so we are going to deal with these problems in a way unlike others, and we're going to view things in different ways. Like, for example, like, what country are you in, Link? I forget.
Germany.
Okay, I thought so, but I was like, no. Makia is Finland. I think Link is Germany, but I really don't want to like say that and have him be like Austria. I'd be like, shit.
No, I'm German.
But like, you're in Germany, and I think you would be. Oh, dude, it is either very early or very late for you right now.
Very late.
Yeah, like it is a very
like it's is it PM or AM? I think it's already AM for you.
Yeah, like it is. Wait, I can do this. It is 19 o'clock.
Yeah, and for you and for me it's 4.
Yeah,
in the night.
Yeah, like you're at a point where it's I'm like, people are waking up right now. Like, some people are waking up for an early work day right now, and it's for the fact that it's like, but you and I are separated by a burning, molten core of a planet. And we are having, and we're having a conversation right now, and I can honestly fully say, like, yeah, Link, he's my friend. I spoke with him yesterday. And like, imagine, like you're saying, 100 years ago. Imagine if we told someone from 100 years ago, and they're like, we have these telephones and like that. And it's like, I'm talking with a friend that I play board games with it's like over a series of wires, who's separated by the entire planet. And she'd be like, excuse me? And she'd be like, yeah, like
I think even with plane, I need like 8 or 10 hours to you.
Yeah, like we're so physically, our bodies are so far away, but because of technology and the internet and the environment within which we grew up, we don't feel as far as space makes us seem. Like, there's someone like, I would consider you a friend, and it's something to where it's like, I may never physically see you as a person, but I still know Link is my friend. And hell, I don't even know your real first name. I've just called you Link the whole time. And like, it's something to where it's like, that's another thing, like the internet, to where the internet has the internet and the way that we've been able to connect has shown us that like, we're not so far away in so many facts, to where it's like something that is literally the world away from us isn't that far, so we can see and we can connect and we can then empathize with people from different backgrounds, environments, and systems. And so we can realize like, hey, this is a problem, or hi, I don't like that thing, we should fix this. And so I think that like that's one thing that is like working in the youth, quote unquote's, favor, is we are able to still see things far away and people far away, and then still understand and know that like we can still like work together, be together, close, understanding, and that like there's still so much growing that we can all do. And I think that that's good for us in the long run, is that we're going to be able to identify and work together more easily.
Yeah, to come back, my real name is Thomas.
Oh, that's really, really easy for me to remember. That's my dad's name, that's my brother's name, and that's my nephew's name. So like
What?
yeah, that's real easy for me to remember. But I'll still go by Link because it's the funny thing that I've made friends is like I have people that I've met through stuff online with it, and they are their online names to me. It's like, I know his name is Justin. I'm still gonna call him Don. Because like that's who they are to me. Which I will say, it's real easy. Like I have some transgender friends who I know by their online screen name. It's really easy because their screen name stays the same. And so I'm like, awesome. Like I'm not gonna screw it up. I was like, it's like, look, like Santos is still Santos. It's great. Like I like perfect. It's like all I gotta know is that instead of saying her, I just say he. It's like awesome. Problem solved. I'm like, it's like, dude, like it's great. For a fact of it's like, and like I've met people who like I've made friends with people who like they are I've met people who they found themselves, I guess, through the internet. Like who they are as people, they grew and like developed as individuals because of their time online. Like I knew someone who before I met him, I only knew him from playing Final Fantasy 14, the MMO.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew him by that screen name with it. And then he told, and as I was talking to him after, and he told me, he was like, yeah, I didn't like the person that I was before. Who I was born as and how I lived my life with it was not the type of person I wanted to be. Because he was like, I was a sad, depressing sack of shit. His words, not mine. And he was just like, and so now, and then, he said, the friends that he made playing the game that he then went and visited and, hung out with and met, and the experience that he had from that, made him better than he was before. He developed as a person, and it was the fact that he was I was sad, alone, sickly, and then my doctor said, you need to change something or you're just going to die. So I did. And then I've met these people, and I made friends, and I've traveled. And then, he was traveling internationally at one point. He traveled to Colombia just on a whim with a trip, met a girl there on a dating app, then, fell for her, kept on dating. He's moved to Colombia now. He's an English teacher at a school there. Never got a degree in English. I think it was an electrical engineer before. But now he teaches English there. And he's married to this girl, and he had a kid 2 years ago. And he's just he's lived a better life now because of being able to look at the world through smaller, shorter borders, and a way of I need to grow and understand more and learn more and grow. And I'm when I just I love his story because I'm God damn, man. Every time I hear it, I wish I could go and run up to him and give the man a hug because I'm good for you, you son of a bitch, yes! I'm so happy for you! I am happy you are happy! You deserve this! It's just, I don't know, that's the stuff that I kind of fight for in life. It's I want to be able to see people be happy. Look, good vibes, good feels, get people you care for and people you want to spend time with and live a good life. It's a strange desire, but still I think a reasonable one, I would say.
I think it's definitely important for life to be happy about others, else you will be just be depressing about yourself.
Yeah, like there's too much. I'll say it. It's like it's why I so rarely will like look at like depressing games or like shows. People like, oh, this show and this movie is so sad and edgy and like rough with it. And I'm like, all right, look, like I don't usually watch many depressing shows or stuff like that because look, dude, if I just wanted to see something depressing, I would look at the news and I'd look at international news. It's like, which genocide do I want to read about today? Woo! It's like, if I want depression, I'll just look at the real world, my guy. So, like, let's try something else today. God, that sounds so bad. But, like, it's just, like, you know. Ooh, let's try this pen. I'll be honest, I have just been drawing circles with different art pens to try and improve on my... hello? Damn it.
How's your drawing doing? Is it good?
Hello? Where did my mouse go? Okay, there we are. Sorry, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you that well.
How are you doing with drawing? Does it look good?
It doesn't look good, but like I'm working on it. Like it's something to where like I've just been drawing circles because it's like it's just getting a feel for the hand of it and then trying the different pens and brushes to just see what they feel like. Like it's something to where like I have very bad handwriting. I have slight tremors in my hands, and so like just using these tools and feeling like I'm drawing just such clean, pretty lines is like. It's stuff where I'm like, this is what a toddler is doing. And I'm like, but I don't care. And it's something where I'm like, I am optimistic about this because, like, this is my first time trying it. And all I've done is just draw circles and lines with different colors and pens. And I'm like, ooh, ee, ooh, ha, ee. Like, ooh, we're a big boy now with it. And or it's just something where I'm like I'm making stuff and I'm like, modern art. Yes. Like nope. Nope, wrong button. There we are. Like, I just did this and was giggling like an infant. Just, it's nothing. That's nothing. That's just a bunch of circles and stupid lines. But I'm like, but it's fun. And I'm like, this is also why now I'm just like, you know what? I am optimistic about like just art with it because it's like I am having fun just with the process, which it's like, which I think to a certain extent with a lot of art, that's like kind of what they want to have happening eventually. They want you to enjoy just the process of drawing, especially with how AI art is happening and stuff like that. Like I remember people saying like you need to be able to appreciate the process of drawing to truly do well with it. If you can't appreciate the process, you may not understand why something matters or what something's doing. Like, the more that I've learned about the art process of like how you actually draw with something, I've learned a lot more. Like, it's made me appreciate stuff a lot more the more I've learned about how something works. It's like when you realize how something is drawn and then you see it in a museum, then you're able to be like, oh, that's what this is.
But that's most time. The way to it is like the important thing, the fun thing.
Yeah, and that like understanding of how it, like something works can have so much of an impact on it. And it's like realizing how hard it is to actually draw things makes me even realize and appreciate stuff more. Like right now, what I'm looking at on my screen, I realize to some people probably looks like a weird modern art piece. And like honestly, I may be tooting my own horn, but I too think it looks like something that could be in modern art pieces. Now, I do say that 90% to dunk on modern art. Because a lot of modern art is really weird. And a lot of it, I'm like, did you really need to do that? Did you really? Because it's like weird stuff. Then, like, I did go to a museum not that long ago, and I was just like, they did some really cool creative stuff with physical space. Like, and it's something to where, like, do you go to museums much, Link?
I didn't go to museums a while ago.
Okay. Because, yeah, like, I actually, no, I remember, Germany's got some pretty solid museums, if memory serves.
In our space, we have many museums about Celtic culture.
That would
Because
actually
we have,
like,
because we have here some archaeology right next to us. Some found things.
That's really cool. Like, I remember, I think I saw like an article not long ago, and it was like they found like a near perfectly preserved Bronze Age sword in Germany, and like it was so well preserved, they even had like the hilt of the blade was still in good condition.
The thing is, the sword was actually found like 20 kilometers away ago.
Oh, you know exactly what I'm okay, yeah, like that stuff, and I'm like, that stuff is so cool to me. Like I love ancient history and figures and stuff like that, and the way that things just like are in some places, and I'm like, that stuff's cool, dude. Like, because that's the type of stuff that like you were saying before, like the Romans and how long they've been around with it, and it's like how much and how many different like worlds, lives, experiences, and everything else that has been out there and existed. Ooh, spray painty. Let's make this a tighter bundle.
But yeah, most things we get here from like culture, old culture is Celtic.
But yeah, it's like that stuff's so fun to me. Like I remember like I was listening to a podcast for a while that was about like old ships and old shipwrecks and stuff like that. And then just like I would love to see old naval museums that must be in Germany, because apparently like in the off the northern coast of Germany, because of how cold the water is, a lot of the bacteria that usually would eat away at wood and other materials are actually like they're not as alive there, because like the bacteria don't spread and exist well in those waters. So there's a lot of really well preserved very old wrecks because the bacteria that would eat away at the wood don't exist. So there's probably like there's a lot of really fascinating nautical history that exists there because nature has just basically been like the bacteria just like, it's too cold to eat this timber. So I'm just like, we're able to find
the same thing is with like all the Viking culture in more the north in Finland and Sweden. Yeah,
like so that mainly because like it reminded me of something that I saw. It was for oopsie, no, I want to I think it was like called the Vasha. That's the ship. I think it was a Swedish ship that was a part of the Swedish Empire. and this ship was like, it was so poorly engineered because of the demands of the Swedish king that the ship sunk on its first voyage out. The ship got leveled by a light breeze. They said it was 4 nautical miles. Like, holy hell. And it just
yeah.
And it was from the 16th century or so. And what happened is the ship actually got, like, because of the cold waters, it didn't get decayed, and they pulled it up in like the 1980s or whatever like that, and they're like, it was in near pristine condition because the bacteria just just didn't eat away at it. And so it's like, now it's just a beautifully preserved museum where, like, let me see if I can find a link to it. Would it be the
But in general, it's hard to think like how back in the days our culture say with these ships. Like, even today we have problems with our technology with ships.
Yeah.
And some some storms and something like that. And then you think like, what about the people in 1400?
Oh God, I would. Everything in my body just like screams no when I'm like getting on a ship in the 1400s. I'm like, so you mean going onto a watery grave, not a land-based grave? It's like, it's there's some stuff in human history that makes me realize, I'm like, man, these people were really like, it's okay.
Yeah, and they did some things that like are really huge, like Magellan and his journey around the world.
Yes, like that stuff where it's like it's crazy. So yeah, that the ship that in that link that I sent you there, what you see in that image there is the actual ship that sunk in 1628. It is just that well preserved.
It's nearly complete, like.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's awesome. And they were just like, yeah, there were a lot of problems with it. And apparently, like, so the ship sunk. The king and all these bystanders who were watching it watched the ship sink. And then the king was like, who sunk this ship? And like the answer was, all of the king's demands and requests for upsizes, retrofits, and changes to the design are considered the cause of the fault, like why it broke down. But it can't be the king's fault that the king's ship sunk, because I'm the king. I'm chosen by God to lead this country. It can't be my fault it went wrong, right? And so the original ship designer, who died about a year before the ship actually was set out to sail, they're like, it's the dead guy's fault. Yeah, it was his fault that the ship sunk. Not ours, not the king's, not anyone else who built it. It was the dead guy's fault. So nobody's in trouble. We're fine.
Typical old times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, even the podcast I listened to about it, they're like, God, like, it's just an exercise in insanity at that point, right? Because, like, no, nobody learns anything. No one realizes that anything bad happened. It's just a bunch of, like, stupid crap. And so they're like, and so then the king probably thought, like, oh, yeah, he probably loved his ships and stuff. And then they're like, or, he would, like, that king, Gustav II, he got killed in a fight with the Holy Roman Empire at 34, or he got like killed at like 35. 2 years later, it was like his horse got shot, he got trampled, then he finally got shot through the temple after taking about 13 bullets and 4 arrows. I'm like, oh my god. It's like, is this why 90% of royalty nowadays has like 13 common ancestors? Because all the others got killed? Like, hell.
But like that's the reason why I think we evolved in the last 100 years so hard, because of our more open nature. Like back in the day, yeah, we can't do this because like either religion or the king don't want it.
Yeah.
Like in something, like in medical technology evolved so hard in the 15 and 1600.
Yeah, like how much we've developed, like literally, like I said earlier, George Washington died because some physicians at the time were like, "Oh, you guys, like you have a bad virus. We have to get rid of the evil, like get rid of the bad stuff in you by bleeding you." It's like they literally opened a vein in him to get out the blood because they thought if he has less blood, like they're like at the time, like if he has less blood, it'll fix the problem. And then he died from an infection he got along with blood loss. And it's like, like versus like I made the joke a while back because it was like I saw someone like post a photo once about like a medical, like it was like the Field Medic's Guide, and it was from like the 1914 Field Medic's Guide, and someone, because this person loved like World War history and stuff like that. And so they found this medic's guide that was given to British soldiers in World War I. And then I was like, wow, it's a real update from the 1890 version. With the biggest update being blood is best kept inside the body. It's like, it is in the patient's best interest to keep blood in the body. And it was like, it had like diagrams of how you splint a wound and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, imagine how awful that would be. Some dude in World War I who like just the explosion from a bomb, not even any trauma, but an explosion like breaks your leg. And you see some 19-year-old flipping through a notebook right there to be like, how do I splint a leg? Like at that point, I'm like, well, this is how I die. Well then. The British are weird in a lot of ways, so I like. Then again, like, for all the shenanigans I will give any other country, I fully recognize I am an American man. For all the crap we make about different groups and people and stuff like that, I fully recognize as an American man, we are like the deranged lunatic of a family member. Of all of human cultures, we are the insane one. We're the crazy one that people are like, we don't talk about the Americans. We're scared of them. Just a little. So yeah, I know I'm a weird guy. I acknowledge that. I accept that fact about myself. But I at least like to think I'm at least interesting.
But I think where American culture differs in many other ways than Germany is how old the culture is. Like American is 400 years ago, 300 years ago, where Columbus got into.
Yeah, 300 years ago, America existed, but the people, the colonizers did a real good job of getting rid of what was there before. Smallpox blankets.
And when you so look depressing. Like, German culture, like, we were here all the time. Like, what's pretty interesting in German culture, I don't know if you're interested any time in German culture, but we are a big country right now, but in like 200 years ago, we were 120 countries.
Really? I didn't know that Germany was that fractured
before.
before.
We had like 120, 130 countries, and first it was Bismarck from Preußen, from the Preußen country that reformed everyone together.
like I knew that a lot of countries had a lot of like a lot of like divisions and other like separations. I didn't know Germany was actually that separated. I was gonna think like it was gonna be like, yeah, like there's like 10 different like countries and regions that make up Germany or whatever, versus like I did not expect that many.
No, we had like more than 100 German kingdoms at one point.
That's really interesting, actually. Like, huh.
Like, it's not that key to see, but...
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, like, that does explain a lot of other areas to me. Like, for example, I know that there's a lot of castles in Germany, and like Germany's got a lot of like very beautiful and like amazing castle structures and systems.
Yeah, that's because we had so many countries, and every country needed its own castle.
Yeah, and now that makes so much sense, because when you're like, no, we need a castle because I have to defend us from those pricks over there in that other country, and you're like, you mean the people like 5 miles away? Yes, that other country.
Like, if you look on... Oh, sorry, that's the wrong chat.
No, you're good.
Yeah. If you look on the map, like, how many single... It's even like countries that are so small that you can't even see the name.
Hell!
This was only 200 years ago. We were split like hell. The only thing you can remember today with the countries are cities that named from these countries.
Yeah, and a lot of these old names actually make a lot of sense. Like, so many of these are things that like we've heard of, or that like you hear about like those types of like countries in the past, and that like people refer to Bavaria, but we never thought but I would think of Bavaria as like a region, but for a long time it seems that Bavaria was a country.
Yeah, they all got its own land and its own king until like 200 years ago.
Yeah, it's like I see Bavaria, Bohemia. I did not know. Wait a sec. I know Brandenburg, of course. Of course, he says like an asshole. I'm just fast. Okay, I must find now more in Google, because I see Pomerania, and now I have to know. I have to know if that's what I think that is.
I think Pomerania later became Preußen.
Yeah. Now I just...
And Preußen was the big state that united all countries together, slowly but surely. It was after the time from Napoleon, where Germany slowly generated to one big thing.
Okay, sorry, it's just I know of the Pomeranian dog. I did not think that I'm sorry, I'm shocked that the Pomeranian is a German dog.
It used to be, I think nowadays it's actually... Wait. I think nowadays it's not German anymore, if you look at the world map.
Oh yeah, it says Pomerania, Germany, Poland, or whatever it would be with it, but like I would like like I for some reason, like something in me, like it just, I never, that for some reason, that dog breed in my head, I don't get the feeling of a Baltic Sea adjacent region breeding this, like being the source of this like pocket dog that I see rich white women walk around with. Like, it's just like, when I think of like German and Polish dogs, I think like you're gonna have a hunting dog. You're gonna have like something that's like something that you like see somewhere that like a king's going to be like, these are the dogs that we have for war, and I'm gonna be like, yeah. Like you're gonna see something like my shadow hound that I've shared so many photos about, and see something like him and be like, that's the appropriate dog that we need for, like that's the dog that we need when we go to hunt quail. And you'd be like, oh yes, of course. That's our bird hunting dog. That's our wolf hunting dog. And this is our dog hunting dog. I'm like, oh, okay.
I think Poland is even younger than everything else. Like, if I look at a map, like Preußen, what I call that I called earlier, that united Germany. This is the map like 100 years after, and you see Poland is Germany basically.
Well, yeah, because I think like modern Poland as it exists is like, to my knowledge, that's partially a no, not that, wrong link. Like modern Poland is like, it's partially a something from like, I think World War II, isn't it? Basically, it's like modern Poland as it exists is like an artifact of like, hey, so
it's not World War II, World War One.
Oh my God, yeah, it's still like,
yeah, after World War One, Preußen just didn't exist anymore. It got completely vanished.
Yeah, because people were just like, hey, no, not anymore. Like,
and then Germany developed towards like nearly original country size that we have today.
I'll be honest, I know you can't probably tell right now, but this has been very intriguing, and I've actually really liked this, so I've been sitting here with a dopey-ass smile on my face the whole time. Like, this is the stuff that, like, I think is so cool with things. It's just, like, it's weird, it's different, it's unique, and it's, like that's not that one. Like,
but like I don't know, that not enough at least to something really about American history, but Germany had a really big problem in the 13 and 1400s.
Really? Like what? What was it?
The big problem was like religion.
Really?
Germany wasn't led by any king or something like that. It was led, but not really. Germany was led by religion. And 13 and 1400 we had big problems, like where the church was more like monarchy.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, I know that was like, I knew there was something in some places. I didn't know that actually in like the Holy Roman Empire and like the Catholic Church and stuff like that was kind of really big for a really long time. And like, I'm not actually, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure what basically led to the dissolving of the influence of like the Catholic Church and stuff.
In Germany, it was a person called Martin Luther.
Oh yeah! I didn't know that, like, I didn't know that he actually had like that tangible, like, you know what? Good for him, because there were some real problems with the church for the fact of like how he was like, hey, this stuff that's not in the Bible, where we're like, hey, Want to go to heaven? Pay me $50. And they're just like,
Yeah, that was in Germany all the time in this.
yeah, indulgences were huge. And it's something to where it's like I remember I had in one of my classes, I had a history teacher who he was very Christian, and he was like, Martin Luther, ultimate G, the dude who was like, hey, I got 99 problems and I'm gonna staple it to your chapel door. And now everyone's like, and now we're and then now we're causing a fit. And then he would have been the start of Protestantism or whatever, that then
But
basically
he never would have so much inflation if there wasn't a letterpress in this time.
Yeah.
In this time, the letterpress was invented, and that's why Martin Luther could start with all this.
Exactly.
Could hang all the papers on the doors.
Yeah, the Gutenberg printing press. And I remember seeing something, they were talking about how when it comes to technological advances changing the world, I remember stuff they're saying the printing press, and some thing that I saw they're saying is they're fighting for the printing press is arguably the most valuable technological advancement humans have ever done.
The printing press was overall the thing why all these religion stuff ended, because the big problem was people couldn't read, people couldn't write, and so the big problem was the guys didn't know what was in the Bible.
Yeah, if you can't read something because no one had access to material to be able to try and read, to learn, if you wanted a book, you had to go to a Franciscan monk, and he had to spend 2 years copying word for spend a year copying word for, or a couple months word for word every single thing in the book. And that was how you got a book, is some guy drawing it by hand, versus the printing press being at the point where they were just
doing it in 1 hour.
Yeah, it's or
something like that.
Boom, here you go. And it's and you could scale that up. I remember still one of the most popular pieces of thing ever printed, now if memory serves, was the Gutenberg Bible, because the dude was they need to be able to see the word of God themselves. And so, Gutenberg Bible in the language of the local people. And then now, and so then, it's the language and text are so valuable.
And that's the thing where Martin Luther as well came in, because he was the first one that translated the Bible from Latin to German.
Which is huge. And remember, I was seeing someone who did this full paper thing and a dissertation on the influence of language on culture, and how religions have altered and changed because of things over time. And one thing they talked about was how one thing that was a big that allowed the Catholic Church of the time to hold such a monopoly on it was because Mass was held in Latin. So people a lot of times wouldn't actually know what was being said to them. So you would have some priest on the pulpit saying words in Latin to you. You just speak German, but they then tell you some things that within your German language, and be this is what God wants of you. And then you're okay, thank you, sir, I trust you, because you are speaking for God. And then guess what? It's it's like anything else. If you believe someone is speaking for the thing that will determine your eternal soul's resting place, and you believe in that, you're going to listen to what they say. And so that gave the church unfettered influence on people.
But there's where we come back with the same discuss, where more we develop, the less childs are born. More developed people, the less the religion matters.
Yep. Yeah.
Because people know what they gonna tell you, and they answer themselves, what is it real, is it not?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's I have no issues with anyone that like with whatever anyone chooses or believes in, or whatever they believe, like if there isn't, whatever they may choose to believe in, as long as that person is able to make that choice for themselves and think about it and have it be their own choice and decision. Like if that's what you choose to believe because of all that you know, that you then think, yes, this because of like how I understand, how I like choose to live my life and what I believe in. I'm like, yeah, good for you. Go ahead, make your choice. But it's like I am frustrated, rightly as Martin Luther was, when it's like, no, you're not. Like you are manipulating these people for your own goals. You're not letting them understand and then choose. You're just telling them what is. I'm like, yeah, good on you, Martin Luther. A real homie. Because, yeah, it's one of the things, Tor, when people, like you're saying, yeah, like, when people aren't able to make their, like, to fully understand something or be educated, which, education, call me biased. Education, learning things, pretty sweet. Being able to read and write, pretty awesome. My personal opinion, pretty awesome. And so, like, I am definitely a fan of, like, things like access to written materials, words, language, communication. And it's something that, like, I've loved, like, by the way, thank you for this, Link. I've really enjoyed this, and this has been very fun.
Yes, for me as well. Like, it's really fun to talk about this. I really like to talk things like that are happening in the world or happened already. But that's the reason why we only started develop like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Then, like, because before was war, the people wasn't educated,
Yep.
and that's why we developed so fast in a time that's like one lifespan.
Yeah, like the leaps that humans have made technologically over the past like 100 to 150 years or something is unbelievable. Like even within like people's lifetimes, like 100 years ago, it's kind of crazy. Like to think that I think I remember looking at once. I think it's 63 years. It was 63 years between the time that we had the first powered flight of a human and humanity landing on the moon. That's as old as my parents. Like, that's amazing. Like, for the fact of, like, you could be a 10-year-old and you could be at Kitty Hawk and see the Wright brothers fly their plane and be like, oh my God, the world has changed now. And then you're a 70-year-old man as you're watching on a television, as you're seeing the video of, like, Buzz Aldrin and Lance Armstrong landing on the moon. Like, holy hell. And nowadays when it's like, oh yeah, like we said, it's like just like, if I could, like, I'll be honest, there are some advancements that have happened even from like our grandparents' time that, like, this is gonna sound bad, but follow through with me on the joke. I'm glad at sometimes that my grandparents are dead so I don't have to explain some stuff to them. Link, I don't want to explain to my grandfather what a VTuber is.
Yeah, true.
like I know with my parents, like, they can kind of get streaming. Like, it makes sense to them. Because it's like, if I tell someone, like, well, look, it's like, you know how, like, imagine if you could have your favorite basketball player, and then your favorite, you could sit in the stands as you watch your favorite basketball player practice, and then you could just ask them random questions or talk with them. I was like, would you like to do that? I'd be like, yeah. I was like, yeah. You'd love to be able to be like, Magic Johnson. What's your favorite type of sandwich to have? Italian club. Shoot. You should be like people like, oh my god, like everyone would love it. Like imagine like it's like, oh, would you love to be able to just sit somewhere and then watch Frank Sinatra just practice his singing or something, or like just recording an album and then come back and just be like my favorite album growing up was it's like my mother liked to play a recording of Mozart that she got at the like from a store. And she'd be like, oh my god.
But like also this is a problem with sometimes. Like my mother stopped working when she got her first child, my oldest brother, and it's like only 10 years after this, or 15, that she didn't work, but it changed so hard that she couldn't start working again in the office
Yeah,
because the things changed from pen and paper to all computer.
yeah. It's like the leaps and bounds that we go through technologically and the speed at which we do it. It's like I want to say like it happens at like almost like a creeping pace. Like you can hear about and kind of know that things are happening, but you don't actually like recognize the actual like change that's coming until the change just punches you in the face. Like because it's such a gradual turnover with so much things that like that only when it actually happens do you realize like, oh my god, this occurred. Like I don't know if that made sense, but like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I understand what
Yeah.
you mean with it.
Yeah, it's just like stuff will happen at such a speed that like you don't always recognize how fast or slow they're going. And then only once it's happened do you realize like, oh, this has occurred.
Like there's a problem, like there's so much that's occurring in the past time, like in 1-2 months, that you can't follow everything.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, whoa, that happened?
Yeah. Like I remember like heck, that's happened for a lot of people. Like I remember seeing stuff like there were like I think it was like Jared like people in like those like shows like Big Brother or whatever like that, where like people live in a house isolated from the rest of the world. Like I remember when COVID-19 happened, like the production crew, which is supposed to like stay away from it, like the production crew like had to come in and be like, hey, by the way, a global pandemic is happening. And it's just like, what?
Yeah, Corona was a big thing. Like in Germany, when I was still in school then, it was like we heard about it. That Corona, yeah, most of us thought, yeah, it's just something in China. It won't go to us. It's a thing that is maybe for 1 or 2 months there, and then it's gone. And our school closed for half a year.
Yeah. Like, and it's like one of those things to where like the way the world's changed with stuff with it. There's something to where it's like we will need humanity will need to have learned a lesson hopefully from COVID-19, because like here's the thing, the cause of COVID-19, whatever it may have been with it, like we're going to through humans just existing, we're going to encounter more things like that. Like the chance of something progressing into a global pandemic is very real and very like apparent. Like we almost had like a global SARS outbreak, but even that one wasn't as bad in the early 2000s. And it's stuff where it's like there could just as easily be another thing that comes out and then it goes bad. Like we could get a Last of Us. How horrifying is that?
Yeah.
It's like,
And that's something I more like won't think about. Like it's so horrifying that something can happen in like 3 months. Also, it's not even like that unimpossible.
no.
We saw it on Corona. It
Yeah.
just needs to be a worse rise, and
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
you have to grab.
yeah, it's like there's stuff where you're like I'm like, oh god, oh my god, no, oh no. And it's just like but yeah, it's like stuff is really weird. What is this? Oh.
But this is something like humans most time are the problems itself. So
Yes.
Corona won't happen if you never like did something with the virus. So often, most times, if something bad happens, human itself are the problem.
Yeah. Like that's we like it reminds me of a line that I've said to people before about stuff. It's like you can't stop me, only I can stop me, and I'm going to do it frequently, often, and painfully. It's like humans are our own worst enemy. Then again, that's the state for a lot of species and animals. Like the thing that is the biggest challenge for a lot of things surviving is themselves. Well, actually, not as much for a lot. I'm going to retract that statement because as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, the thing that's stopping a lion from being a successful lion is probably killing that gazelle. Like,
That there's like nature's so good balance that
yeah.
if it's just grow itself, it will go fine eventually.
Yeah. It's like humans are one of the first species to kind of really massively disrupt the game, quote unquote, of life. It's like there's a YouTube that I found a while back that the person who runs it, his sorry if you can hear my dog. It's called Tier Zoo, and this guy literally does a tier list of how powerful animals are in the animal kingdom and what the most successful animals are. And he was like, as you can see, a lot of the meta in the game revolves around the top contender in the game. Currently, that's humans. No other species has ever been as dominant as humans have been on the metagame of life. And he refers to major extinctions events as patches. It's like in the Triassic patch. It's like then there was the great great extinction event. This patch really changed up the game. No, not that.
But when you think about it, when was the last time like something really bad happened for us humans that no human was involved into? Where what was the last problem where humans didn't
Weren't at
actually did the problem?
least that we weren't actually even at least partially the cause of.
Yeah.
I
For me, like the last time is yeah, when was the last time? Like I can't thought even from it.
like I would say like kinda. I was gonna say the Black Death, but like even that, I'm like iffy on because I remember I was seeing something that like that happened because of like there were mice that actually came across like on ships from Africa that were diseased. But one of the other reasons is one thing that humans used to have on their ships up until that time period, because there was a lot of religious persecution happening around that time as well, was there used to be ship cats, and ship cats that would then control the level of mice that existed on ships to get rid of grains. But then there was books and stuff put out there that were like, witches use cats to cast their spells. witches are evil and cats are the familiars that are the cause of Satan. This woman has had an opinion, therefore witch. We must kill her and the cats. So they stopped having cats on ships a lot. So more rats appeared. So the rats that then would lead to bubonic plague spreading. And it's just like...
And as well, the problem was just the storage, how we stored our food. And like that was not the problem of the nature itself. It was the problem like how we stored and eaten.
Yeah.
Because we stored things like 2, 3, 4 days, a week maybe. That wasn't just. It wasn't like in mind from nature to store it so long. Like even wolves or lions or something get infected and dies if they eat too long lasted food.
Yeah, it's like how and it's just one of those things where it's like how we have an impact upon our environment, and we need to be aware of our impact upon our environment, because like it kind of really does a lot. All right, it's been so long. 1 second. That's not what I want.
And how far are you with your drawing?
I've been doing a lot of doodling and lines and getting familiar with it, and like before, just drawing just random pointless stuff. And so right now I'm just trying to get better with the pen and cursive right now with it, to where I just Googled how do I draw a cursive K, and it was exactly how I thought it was supposed to be. And so now it's one of those stuff where I'm just like, when I was drawing in the notebook before, I was very unsatisfied with it and disappointed in what I was making. Now with this stuff, I'm actually like, just doodling here, I'm actually like having fun, even just drawing circles and lines and seeing how it's made, and then changing the tools and trying something else. And so I'm like, I'm going to call today a smashing success. It's like, I wrote Word, me do good, yay. Like, I think I'm going to check my view time later and it's like 0 people viewed your channel. Like, I don't care. I had fun just doodling for no reason. And then I'm going to like save all these later. So then when I eventually have an art gallery that's just going to be live performance art with me, of you just going to see me somewhere. It's going to be a recording of me doing live art, randomly talking to people in the studio. Link, you'll know that you were the first to be there at the genesis of a new modern art form or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's like one of those things to where I'm even trying to get like when I asked some friends, I was like, what can I try and do to improve on my art skill? And they were like, well, here's these tutorials and things. And then I was just like looking at it, I'm like, this looks complicated. This looks like actually
like
intelligent and
my advanced tip would be just draw.
Yeah, that's the thing, Stuart. It's like right now I'm just like, I'm gonna make a
like start drawing and you will eventually find out. Yep. And that's like in core with the creative nature of drawing. You draw, you start, and you'll watch how it's coming up.
Yeah. Those look like nasty lips, not teeth. We're gonna edit that a little bit. Yeah. And it's like one of those things where my friend's like, yeah, then you'll figure out and you'll develop your own art style. And I'm like, I would like to develop my own art style. And I'm really curious what I would end up making my art style be. Oh. But I do know that after what I've heard from all my friends and stuff like that, I've realized we're not going to try and draw hands. Hands suck. Hands are
Hands
evil.
suck. Hands and when I draw faces are really really hard. And that's why when I draw something as a child, I mostly draw some characters from movies or games.
Yeah.
And I mostly try to draw characters without a face.
Yeah. Like
Because drawing a face sucks.
dude, one of the first things I tried to draw, because I was like, it's like, you know what? I want to draw Trico from Pokemon Gen 3, one of my favorites. And then, like, as soon as I started to make it, I was like, oh god, no. Like, the more I looked at it as I through with it, I'm just like, no, we do not. We're not proud of what we've made. I created an abomination, and it's just like, it's like something where I'm just like, after I'm like, I tried, it looks awful, but I did try. I don't know if that counts for anything, but it is the reality of what we have made. Ugh. That is artsy fartsy. No, not that. No, how do I? No, stop, not that. How do I do? Nope, no, no. Then we want to delete that layer. Then select here. Oopsie, no. I'll take that. I like this. I like this. Yeah. No, Leo. Oh, god damn you. Oh, I need to get actual food in your belly. We're good for now. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I better not be about to hear you bark again, Leo. Right, I want to save this later. Alright, let's try.
Conjures, are you here?
Yes, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I will be off for now. It's pretty late here, and
You should. I really hope you're either waking up and you're not just like a nocturnal creature now.
I hope so as well.
All right, get some sleep, my guy. It was great to talk to you.
Yeah, goodbye, and have fun with drawing on your tablet.
Thank you. Have a good day. Or night, rest, whatever it may be. Bye.
Yeah, good night for me.
Oh my gosh, I feel like such an idiot. It's good to hear from Link. Good guy. I may call it soon. I'm gonna go for another 10 minutes, and then I'll probably swap over to something else because I'm really happy with this. All right. If there's anyone in the chat that'd like to know or see or with their names or anything like that, let me know, and I will sketch your name out for you. Other than that, I may just start to scribble for a little bit, and then I'm probably gonna call it kind of maybe. I don't know. But let me know, and I'll probably just turn up music. And because I can get DMCA'd, I'm going to keep it on this stuff. That's not going to get DMCA'd. Where's my music coming from right now? Where? Hello? There we are. Let's... A UFO. Let's see. Bueno. Lost connection for a minute. Hello? then let's go with the purple for tractor beam. Actually, too many. That's too many. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright. You know what? This has been a phenomenal first day of doing this. June 28th, 2023. I am Condrias, and, or is the Fiesta Man, whatever you want to call it. I'll consider this a good day. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a great time. And be well. Be good. Do good. Here's my UFO and bye. Actually, yeah.